thoroughly impressed.
That's delicious, yeah.
What makes the world's best barbecue in the backyard? Getting a dedicated stick burning offset and or a wood pellet fired grill. Well, today I have not what only I believe to be the fairest, but also the most revealing test I've ever seen on YouTube. One of the challenges when it comes to comparing a stick burning offset to a pellet grill is the variety in size and shape and a whole bunch of other variables that make any direct head-to-head comparison a little bit of an asterisk or a caveat, save it could be one of the many, many differences between the grills itself. Well, today we don't have that problem, as I have two nearly identical smokers, save for the difference. One is going to be burning wood splits and the other will be burning pellets. In one of my last trips to Texas, I did a sit-down interview with Aaron Franklin and asked him point blank on not only his thoughts about pellet grills, but specifically manufacturers in the past that have claimed to finally close to the gap to flavor and performance that you get on an offset smoker. And Aaron, never one to pull any punches, had this to say. The marketing promise of you're getting the true Texas experience, and
yeah, it's all marketing.
Now, admittedly, my own experience, including some of the same grills that others have said in the past achieve and close this gap, I've never been left confused about what came from an offset and what came from a pellet grill. But none of the grills that I've tested before have what the Lone Star Grill's El Fuego trio has behind me, which is not only the ability to run, just like my adjustable grill, a full charcoal fire, wood fire, but now also the introduction of a pellet fire. But not just any pellet fire, Chris and the team at Lone Star Grills has also developed some intellectual property around a wood burn box that can fit the exact same type of wood split that I would be using if running in offset mode. If this is your first time seeing these two grills and you're wondering what makes them different, let me give you a 30-second recap here in terms of what's the same and what's different. And when you rejoin me, we'll meet over in the kitchen and start to get our ribs ready for today's experiment. So starting with what's similar, both grills are 100% handmade in Conroe, Texas. They both have over 1,400 square inches of cooking space, a 16-inch firebox with over 12 inches of vertical lift adjustability, 304 stainless steel hood, springs, gasket, as well as with handle spins. We've also got a dual exhaust vents left and right. And one of my favorite features is the fact that we have 8 inches of vertical clearance between the main cooking grate and the upper cooking grate. We've got a double wall carbon steel firebox with an insulated barrier, 304 stainless charcoal grate and moving parts, independently controlled air intake, an independently controlled grate height, as well as a removable ash pan. So going through some of the new features that we see here for the first time on the El Fuego trio, the ceramic hot air ignition. We've got an open center auger design. We've got both pellet plus the ability to blend wood chips up to 50-50. We've got a 40-pound pellet hopper with a pellet dump. We've got an external removable burn pot, which will make ash cleanup simpler without having to disassemble the grill. I've got a 1/8 steel deflector plate for open direct grilling. Air temps can range anywhere from 160 to 450 degrees Fahrenheit with great temps well over 700 degrees. We've got a patent pending burn pot design. We've got a charcoal grill on one side, pellets on the other side where we can switch on the fly, as well as the wood split basket for pellet mode. This lets us introduce real wood while using the pellet controller to run the cook.
All right, let's get our ribs ready. We've got some really nice looking St. Louis ribs in Costco this week, so I've picked up 2 packs for our test. First, we're gonna get our seasoning ready. I'm going to do a base layer first with some Diamond Crystal Kosher salt. And this, I'm not quite ready to spill the beans yet, so stay tuned for more details on what exactly is in here.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
It's a secret. Shut up.
But this will be something I hope to share with you guys really soon in terms of something I think you're gonna like. Give that a mix. And our rub is ready. We got our salt, let's get these out. I'm not planning to have to do any trimming on these. If you've seen some of my videos, depending on the type of grill that you're using, for example, an 18-inch Kamado like the Kamado Joe Classic or large Big Green Egg, often you have to do a little bit of trimming and you lose some end bones in order to get 1 or 2 racks of ribs to fit. That is no concern on the square shape and larger diameter of the Lone Star Grill's adjustable charcoal and the same grid size on our El Fuego Trio. So I'm only gonna look to see if there's a problem area. Otherwise, we're not gonna do much trim work here. Since we got the knife out, might as well make somewhat useful and take that little flap off. Otherwise, like I said, we are not going to do anything to these, as these look really good as they are. So why I think this test may be so close, closer perhaps than any other, comes down to the coal bed. So the way that the live fire grill is going to work is using some charcoal as a coal bed, and then I'll be placing some wood splits on top of that in order to get real wood smoke. On the El Fuego Trio, the way that that works is the controller keeps everything running with pellets as our coal bed, and then the burn box sits above that where we can burn those real wood splits. So in both cases, we have a small coal bed providing some fire, and otherwise we are using the exact same size and fuel type for our flavor, which I think, at least in theory, should give us a remarkably similar result. So to build our fires to get started for everything, starting with the adjustable charcoal grill, as I mentioned, we need a coal bed so those wood splits will burn nice and clean. So I added some charcoal, got my grill blazer grill gun out, and waited till I saw those coals white and ashed over. And to help make sure that we reduce any time of bad combustion, I throw in an extra split or two to make sure that they are preheating and they combust nice and quick when we add them into our fire, when we need to keep the temperature rolling. For the El Fuego Trio, this is a little bit simpler, no grill gun needed, as I just hit the power button on, set it to 265 degrees Fahrenheit, and just like before with the adjustable grill, I also added a wood split, which we don't need right now until we have our ribs ready. So we'll let these grills both come up to temperature. Let's go back to the kitchen and add our seasoning, and we'll be ready to get them on. So we are now exactly or almost at the 3-hour mark. So just to catch you up on today's game plan in terms of what has already happened and yet what is still to come. I wish I thought of this earlier and was writing down exactly how many wood splits I was going through on each grill, but from recollection here, it feels like we are running exactly the same rate. And I suppose this makes sense, since on the adjustable charcoal grill, we have a small charcoal bed, which every now and then I need to supplement with a few more pieces of charcoal to make sure that I don't struggle to get a wood split to burn. And on the El Fuego Trio, you hear behind me the auger feeding a few pellets into the coal bed. And again, we are seeing nice open flames in both grills. Anytime I've taken a peek, either to make sure that I don't need to add any wood and or to spray our ribs to help some of that glorious smoke attach to the ribs. So as I said, we're nearly at the 3-hour mark. I'm gonna continue maintaining the fires up until about the 4-hour mark. And then when it's time to move into foil, since there's gonna be no more smoke absorbed once they're upside down in foil, along with some butter and brown sugar, the game plan is to throw everything into the El Fuego Trio. Since that'll give me a little bit of a break, I can get things ready for the rest of dinner inside while these finish cooking and get ready for our taste test. Now that you're all caught up on the game plan, the next time I see you, hopefully we have some delicious ribs ready to dive into to find out once and for all if we can settle the debate between Team Pellet and Team Offset. Okay, our hour is up, so it's time to sauce the ribs. I'm gonna be using the Barre Barbecue rib glaze recipe. I've heard that before on the channel, so if you haven't seen it, I'll add a chapter at the end of today's video and you can see how to make this. Otherwise, you already know this is good stuff. I've marked on the packages 2 for the El Fuego Trio and 1 in offset mode so we don't mix things up. I've also got the board that I'll be cutting on, and I've hidden the answer key in terms of which is what. So when Sarah comes out, we do a bit of a blind taste test. We'll spin it, and if done right, even I should know what is what. So I'll take you fast forward while I get these out. For the time being, I'm gonna keep the pellet El Fuego Trio on this side, and the offset ribs on this side, just so I don't mix them up before then. Looks good, let those finish. Well, these certainly look mega. I'll cover up the tags here so Sarah and I won't be able to see these anymore. We'll even flip it around a few times to help lose track of everything. But before we start slicing, that's a good looking rib. Set this aside, get a few slices of one. I'll keep the others together just to help try and preserve some temperature. Great looking smoke ring. Incredibly juicy. It's a good sign. Looks good. Let me go get Sarah. All right, it's official. Taste test season's begun.
Yes, these look good.
Are you hungry?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
We got lots of ribs.
I know, it looks awesome.
All right, so do you know what's what?
No idea. They just look delicious.
So what we need your help for is deciding which tastes best.
Okay, I can
right.
try.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, pick a rib. I'll go from the same pile, whichever one you pick.
Okay, I'm gonna start closest to me.
Okay.
All these. Okay. Oh, it looks good.
Yes.
Color's nice. Oh man. Well done, James.
We were just in Montgomery, Texas a week ago at Bar Barbecue, so I'm a little bit worried about the direct comparison.
They were the best ribs I've ever had, probably.
So good. Anyways, cheers.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's yummy.
Wow, really good.
Okay.
I don't want to lose sight that we have an audience who just keep eating.
I know, I'm hungry.
Kids want some too. That's
Okay.
good.
That's a really good rib, James.
I'm proud of that.
You've come a long way.
Thanks, Pepper. All the tips. Rib number 2.
Okay.
Right?
Yep. My God, they both look so good.
These do look really good.
Yeah.
Cheers
I
again.
don't know what we're comparing, but cheers. Okay.
Close, but there is a little difference.
Yes. Very close. But different. Yeah. Delicious, but different.
Again,
Yeah.
a good rib.
Really good rib. Okay.
You have
Opinions.
enough evidence?
I think so. I can finish it
Sauce
later.
off her face.
I know. Okay, first of all.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Really, really good. Flavor's awesome. Whatever that rub is delicious.
Well, what is it? I don't know. What's in it?
I haven't told them about it yet.
Okay.
It's coming soon. By the way, I mentioned that earlier. If you are signed up for the newsletter, you'll be the first to know later this spring when that's ready. But that's what's on these ribs.
Okay, awesome. Good
like
to
it?
know. Yeah, it's delicious.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
Depth of flavor. This is this touch better, but not like. Honestly, so good. They're both delicious. Like
Right.
I don't know. Like, yeah, depth. This has just a bit of a depth of flavor that one maybe doesn't have. But they're close. Like they're such
very
good
close.
ribs. They're
It is.
such good ribs. Like
It's always got the struggle, but if you had to put a number, like a percentage, if you're giving your winner the 100%, what's the
Okay.
percentage of kind of rib number 2? Are we talking like 20% off? 10%?
No.
I know.
20 off? Okay, no.
Like what percentage is
Yeah.
out of 100?
So if that's 100,
Yeah.
would that be 90? I don't know. Like, is that too close?
I don't know. I would have said 90.
Yeah,
so
like
maybe
they're
even 95
right?
on a generous day.
I know. I feel like we're really splitting hairs because it's delicious.
Close.
I'm curious now what the difference is.
It is close. So there is a difference,
Okay.
albeit very little.
Okay.
But the difference here is we're comparing a pellet rib with the same wood split,
Okay.
burning it in a firebox,
Okay.
versus running the adjustable charcoal grill at fire only.
Okay. Interesting.
So the one that you and I would both agree, a depth of flavor, do my reveals here, secret.
Offset.
Offset.
Okay, that's offset.
And over here
That, like,
is
oh my
our
gosh, okay.
pellet. So I've done a bunch of these tests in the
No,
past. I don't think it's ever been this close.
No,
to
if I would have eaten that on its own for dinner, I would never have guessed that was pellet. compared to like other stuff we've had in the past.
It's
that was
really
delicious.
good.
That was so good.
It's really good.
I know, I'm really hungry. I want to eat more.
I had told them earlier on that I wasn't keeping track of the sticks. So I tried to go back through the footage, and it was close, but you can even see it in the color that there was about 40% more wood splits used on the offset, and we say fuel is flavor.
Yeah. And that's, the depth of flavor. That little bit of extra smoke, maybe.
No,
Yeah.
no one's going to laugh you out of any backyard competition or family cook-off with this. And so even as I was getting ready for inside for the rest of dinner, pellet mode took over for just keeping things warm, which is really handy.
Yeah.
But really impressed.
That's delicious. Yeah, they're so good.
Let's get these ribs inside. We've got some hungry kids ready for dinner. We'll get their vote as well, but I'm going to sign off for now. Let me know down in the comments if there's anything else that you'd like to see next, including the all-new El Fuego trio, but this is
so good. Such a good rib.
I'm James Soka, who's signing off. Remember, don't be afraid to fire it up. So I've scaled this recipe down to make just over 1 liter. So let's get started with our ketchup. We're gonna do 1.25 cups of ketchup. Third cup brown sugar. Third cup white sugar. 2/3 cup honey or maple syrup, which is one of the additions that I suggested to Cooper, and he tried and actually included it on his video of pork belly burnt ends on his channel. It's really good. Also mixes a little bit easier than honey. Apple cider vinegar. Another 1/3 cup, but of white vinegar. 1/3 cup of water. 1/3 cup of wash your sister sauce, as they called it in Texas. 2 teaspoons black pepper. I've already cracked some up with my pepper cannon. 2 teaspoons of cumin. And lastly, the same amount, another 2 teaspoons of onion and garlic. Mix that up. We're ready.